Hello, the clock is 23:04. It's Sunday, the 10th November 2019. Today, I'm very much sure on what is happening in Denmark. I am that because of the people who have lived around me. And today the picture is very clear. But one thing is not clear for me, and that is, where did it start? When did their attention become over my person? See, I did have a pistol when I was 14 years old in my head when I was driving in the train. And as a young person, you get very angry on foreigners when you have an experience like that. So somehow you, in a protest in what you have experienced, you turn to the culture under a war, the Nazi war, just for a while. You turn to your own culture of appearing as a little bit racist. It's a normal thing. When later on, that was only the starting point to a later on more problems in your younghood with foreigners in our country. Then you get a PC, and you have not really realized what war you are really growing up in, because nobody have told you there's a war over your person. How could you guess that you grow up in a country that you really not belong in? But you does, because it is where you are home. Then you think you can get a work and you can earn some money and you can make some business and you can sell and you can grow and you can make a firm and you can make a lot of contact and you can expand and you can have a firm and you can reclaim for your firm as normal people. But there is just this splinter in your eye, and you cannot feel it and you cannot taste it. You only noticed a lot of problems when you go on the net and when you use your phone. Problems if you make a profile and have a dating site. Problems if you meet somebody and you shall receive SMS. And at the same time, it's like everybody knows something. When you meet them, it's like they know something and you don't know shit. Not only that, you have the feeling about if you meet somebody that somehow you're scaring them away, or something is scaring them away. And you are young and you're just ignoring it because you are young and you have your whole life in front of you. That's how you think. But you know there's something wrong. You just know it because you feel it. And it's like every time you drive out in the country, it's like you see it, but you cannot see it. Then noticed that people are moving in next door and moving out. But you don't give it so much attention. But you see it nearly in every apartment. This is just a place where you move in and move out again. You really don't know what's going on around you because you don't use your mind on it. But a pattern is begin to show its ugly face. But you don't mind over that pattern yet because you are with a girl. A girl you don't see no future in. And you don't see no future because she is not Danish. And that does not belong to the dream that you have dreamed about. But something is going on. It's like you are in a sleep in a way. You are with a girl you don't want sex with. But you are with her because there's company. Like friends. Kind of a forced friendship behind your back. But you don't really know that yet. But it's just a kind of a idea that's lying behind in your head and have not really grown yet. Then you have a success with ending the relationship. And now you begin to dig into this splendor there is in your eye that you cannot feel or taste or see. Because you realize that you cannot reach people through your technology, through your computer, through a profile, a dating site, through the email that you are using. But you don't know that yet, that it is the email that you are using. Because it's a damn good email. It's so smart, and maybe one of the first of its kind, and you have a success with having that name. Because it's indicating letters, and it is a box for letters, just like your mailbox when you get mail in your box. That's the suitable name for your email. So it's a damn good one. You have really think it through when you was making it. So much through, so other people did get a pain in the ass over it. And as a young person, you find yourself very good looking. There should not be no problems with the girls. Because when you grew up, the girls was coming at your home and knocking at your door and did always have a crush on you in the class. That's how you grew up. That's the feeling you have when you're using your technology. But something is wrong on the technology. It's like reality is not appearing when you go on the net. It's somehow different. Every time you put in some numbers for what you're looking for, if it's a woman on the net, they don't exist. The describing you have made does not exist at all on none of the profiles you have made. Weird enough. You have this idea that there's no hole through your telephone, there's no hole on your PC. There's really no hole through it because somebody is controlling it and closing it down. So the next step you do is to going out on the road, trying to make some connection with strangers, because you need somebody you don't know to make a contact to your phone, so you actually can see about its appearing with problems. Because that's one of the things you have noticed. If it's somebody you know, they cannot close down for it. Because you will meet them in real life. But if you meet a stranger, maybe you are lucky that they will notice that you don't know this person, and then they will close down for the connection. And that was true. I noticed that you nearly only have 24 hours, and then they close down for the connection. When I was a young boy in this country, like, let's say 24 years old, 26, 7, or something like that. So somebody was preventing me to live out my life in this country. Next step was to find out where the source is coming from. Who is preventing me to live out my Danish life in this country? On that time, I did have somebody connecting to me, inviting me out to a Nazi football. That one today I'm thinking a little bit over. Why invite me to a Nazi football when I have problems with connecting to normal people? We have one person that we know, both of us. This person was connected to the movie industry, and then we have the license that we are paying tax to. Then we are already connected all the way over to United States of America and LA. Just through that. But we don't know that yet about there's a connection, or there will appear a connection to United States of America. But we can see through the girl that we have known that there is very high people, and it is connected to United States of America. Because United States of America is in cooperation with the Philippines. We know there's kind of a relationship there. So there's a route to United States of America. Are they the guilty one to closing down for my net? We have very high rank from the military. But we are spending time with what we don't know about it is the enemy. Oh, it's a helping hand, maybe. We don't know that yet. Because we don't know shit. We just know that we want a Danish girl to spend our life and build up our life with. That's what we know. And that is not to reach. On the school that we have been on as a young kid, we had problems there too. And people come and ask about we was a racist. Many problems like that. So that is the rumor that have appeared over our person. And yes, maybe I was a racist, but I mind my own. Then we begin to notice there was a flow where we live. When we cannot get in contact with people, some people were sitting over the connection. When they was walking away, there was a hole on the net that we actually could connect to who we like to, and we did find out too that we could receive SMS in that time. So somebody was holding me in my hand down here, behind my back, an ugly organization, on a shift. That was real, not something I'm imagining inside my head. Because day after day I kept an eye. When I could not keep an eye from my apartment, I noticed this very late, because I did not have no windows out to the road. So I could not see the appearance of this organization. So when I begin to keep an eye on the road, and I begin to texting people and see when I could receive SMS, and I did find out that sometimes there was a half hour open when those people were not sitting over my things. So somebody was holding me as a prison with a guile. Somebody was paying those people to sit over my person and closing down for my businesses, for my life, for my for me to have a chance to live out my life. I begin to think, and I think it appears when they came and took my dogs because I was in protest on that law they was making over the dogs. So those people out there have closed down for me in a long time to when they was going to take my dogs. Because you understand, this woman I was with, they have connection to military from United States of America. This woman, I was going to break up with her. And I tried. It was very difficult. But I knew that her visa was going to run out. And then my chance was to break up. And weird enough, they was talking about this dog love in the same time. In politics, I had a dog, you understand? I did not have that kind of dog, but it was looking like one of them. I was giving somebody a helping hand that I should never have done, because my mistake was happening on some few seconds that it was not to prevent. And there you had it. And then they make the dog love in the same time. In the same time. And then you can wonder a little bit over why they make the dog love as they did. Because they make it with 3 months back. Three months back. And that meant it was exactly that time, so I could not keep none of my dogs. So in the same time, you have politic people, important people on Christian's ball, with some religious mind on my person, some religious sickness about it would be a success with interfering in other people's lives through the technology, have the solutions on all problems of integration. And I was an experiment of a success against something I did not know I was. And what was that? What was I? I can guess a little bit over today that maybe I was what the Deutsch indicate of being Deutsch. A star, a lamb, a slave from earlier past. But I'm not sure on this, but I have dig a lot into history to find out how could it be. Because we know there is a Bible, and we know there have been a people of God that was being liberated from Egypt. Egypt was related to the moon. And the Egyptians was maybe something else than the slaves they kept to building all their houses and statues. And maybe I have an idea that they grew and become smarter, stronger maybe, because they was both, you understand, and something else. So they could liberate themselves from Egypt and it maybe go on the north. And maybe later on it become Rum. And there you have it. But maybe they go in the north too. A lot of years have gone. So all of them is actually related in a way. Maybe. And maybe that's why you had a second war, because of wanting to liberate themselves from a past, maybe. A new era. I'm not sure how this is, but there's people out there that know just a little bit over this and have science over man. Today, you know, they have the mental hospital to putting everything away. They just put them out there and then they get away with their crimes. But back to where I live, I could see a lot of foreigners here. I could see Poland, I could see Russian, I could see Greek, I could see Thai, I could see United States of America, and I could see Swedish people and Deutsch. But actually the Deutsch part was making a move on me. So I don't know how that was hanging together. But today I know it. I think I know it. I just noticed the Russians like to use me and making a propaganda against the Americans. The Americans like to shut down for my things and using me to kind of making money on me. I think both of them was offering girls from United States of America and Russia, and it nearly came on the same time. Television, they definitely want me to be with foreigners, new Danish people in this country, using me as a politic tool of integrating new Danish people in this country. But that model, I don't see it as Danish. I see it as the people who want the war and have controlled Dutch people ever since. But this is Denmark. So something is mistaken. But you understand, under the war, Denmark was overtaken by Dutch people. But the Dutch was losing the war. So who did overtake? Did somebody overtake Denmark after the Cold War? Have there been a control ever since over Denmark? Because I have heard somebody said that they have been here ever since. I had a feeling too under all this that every time I met a woman, they stopped the connection. And I had a feeling that they actually make a move, close down for me, and then make a move on the women's that I meet out in this country. That was a feeling I had. I don't know about it was true. But today, I know it's one of the methods to forcing our love in this country, and they are doing it. Because they want to split our population out and have a piece of us. So, I see Englishmen, Irishmen, I see Russian and United States of America. I have not really seen French people yet, I think. I'm not sure. Then you have other countries too, because they have businesses in Denmark, and they was getting involved in the war too, choosing a side and giving a hand. But that was just people of the wrong side. I was not into, because I know they want to force me in that direction. They have ever since worked on that. They have not worked with me. They have worked for other nationality than Danish and to what I want. Today, there's this program, there's this about Mars people. The Mars people is like a program over those people, and I could imagine that the Mars people is Deutsch people. So they appear not only in Deutschland, but everywhere side by side Deutschland. So today, when you see stars as aliens, you will definitely maybe see them with brown eyes. Because that is the program of mixing the stars so you cannot see the stars. Because they will be changed. Because there was a second war. A war based on a race. And so today, you have all those nationalities experimenting with this type of man. You have even United States making law against them. If I'm correct, am I correct there? But Russia is taking this very serious, or maybe they just want to have an excuse to take it very, very serious. But of course, you cannot just say Russia, because Russia is many things. You have people who's working for the country, and then you have just people, they're freelance, just like normal, like in every other country. So about their soldiers, you cannot be sure on that. But one thing is sure, all those people is getting paid somewhere from. And if you think over it, if you go out where all the riches are living, in Hellerup, you can see a lot of embassies. And about countries maybe have like a corporation through the embassies in other countries, which sharing out our people. I definitely know that there's a lot of sperm firms that definitely want some of the sperm from those stars. But they don't want to pay them. They want to take and take and take, but they don't want to pay. They don't want to give them room and that they can have their space to grow. But they know they're full of ideas and they're full of success, but they will not give them room to grow. So you get this vampire effect from it, from those people that are sucking on what we call Deutsch. So they become the lamb. They become the lamb. So maybe that was what the trigger a Cold War, because of wanting to be liberated from religious wolves sucking on those lambs that was full of rich ideas from a time where we have not reached where we are today, and we are still evolving through technology. But in that time, that was the start of evolution, like cars, trains, ships, motor. And they needed people that could think it out. See, we know definitely that the Deutsch did have a success of making their machines under the Cold War. But they did lost because they did not have enough. I'm not Deutsch, I'm Danish. But they have treated me just like a Deutsch person, like after the war, under the war. So when the Americans come and say they are the good guys, I will ask, on what side? On what side are you the good guys? When Russian comes and say we are one of them, I will say, since when? Before the war, after the war? And what does that mean? If Dutch people come and say I'm one of them, I will ask on what terms? Maybe they just believe on a new man they call X. I know definitely they want to make this new breathing and that is brown eyes mixed with brown, with blue, sorry. And about the idea is to getting some in the middle, like green eyes or something like that. I'm not sure on that one. What kind of science lying behind that? But in the Bible, there stand something about that you can squeeze the meat and get knowledge out of it. About that is a jack-off model. I'm not sure on that, but I want to know about it because I don't like the word jack-off, because it's a war, you understand, method of isolating people to themselves, giving out ideas from those people from other countries like Russia and Greek and Deutschland and England and Irish and United States of America. So every time you see movies, if you hear that word, jack off, then you should not support it. I have that idea, you should really not support it. Maybe new artist is not aware over it, but this is standing in the Bible, so you should take it very serious. Those people down here who have closed down for my shit is maybe very aware over it and using it as a warfare against a type of man. And what is this man? Is it man with great spirit, magical powers? On the mental hospital, they definitely pronounce about people is dead. So what does that mean when people is dead? What kind of force have they forced out of them? Is that why they have hired hookers? Is that to squeezing out the liquid and making them dead? In the same time that they're giving them the medicine? What cooperation is there on the mental hospital? From what countries? What religious organization is giving money for this to be a part of our reality? Is it all the Mars men they're putting in on the mental hospital? Is that why corruption is seen against those people? Is that why it's such a clever method to have a warfare against people like this, that they can always just pointing fingers at them and say it was in their head. When they are a whole military organization to getting away with this crime against those people. Making everything look like, so it will look right on a paper. Just ignoring their rights. Because they are isolating those people. So there will not be witnesses to witness different. That's why they can get away with the crime if you know the law. And what is this in their younghood? And then when they get older, then they can break it down and give them the medicine. What is this for a sick way of treating other people? So if you have met me out there and we have spent a little bit time and have seen us spend times together, if you have get my number and my address, be aware over the next that will contact you and make a move on you, because those people will definitely be the enemy and you will not be aware over that. But that's just a reality. Just like in Conan, when Arnold say, yeah, you can look it up, something would take their women's, it's actually what they do. So think a little bit over that when you spend time with Russian or Irish or English or Greek people. Then understand that they maybe choose you because of the warfare they have against some individual people. That's just a very sick way of getting away with crime. Wiping out some people. Making sure that they does not get a new generation of the same kind. So understand why they say racist. It's just a very smart way to get away with this. Do you understand that? Black and white. It's just a way of separating that race to just get a little bit space to evolve. They give them all kind of names like alien, robot, all kind of sickness, just to have an excuse for wiping out this kind of people. But if you take history, it have been that kind of people that have been used by other people earlier back. Some inventors, movies does have some good examples of how this is really going on. That you have this blood-sucking people that is sucking on those lambs. Sucking all the ideas out of them and winning gold on it. Just like television is doing with me. Every time I am on something, ideas, if they just can get just a little bit knowledge from that, they will publish it. And that's just telling about the license that we are paying our tax to. What kind of ugly organization that we are paying our license to. I will say thanks for now. I hope I make you a little bit wiser on my situation. And if I meet you out there, then you know your situation too. Maybe you will like the attention you will get from all this ugly shit. Or maybe you will like me so much so you will really not like it. Because you will see it's real. Have a good afternoon. Bye.